Good afternoon and welcome to Seattle University and our third annual Ethics and Tech Conference. I'm Shane Martin. I serve as the Provost and Chief Academic Officer at Seattle University. And on behalf of President Eduardo Peñalver, our faculty and staff, and our community, it's certainly a pleasure to welcome all of you to our campus and to this extremely important gathering today. The Tech Ethics Initiative at Seattle University is a university-level initiative to situate Seattle University as a community builder, as a leader in conversations and convenings around social, political, economic, philosophical, and legal implications of technology. We see this as an interdisciplinary initiative that supports our faculty, staff, and students who collaborate on course development, research, and other academic projects related to technology and ethics. Since its inception, and as mentioned, this is our third Ethics and Tech Conference, it's been a gathering for thought leaders and industry professionals to engage in meaningful discussions, dialogue, debate, and networking opportunities. Each year, we tackle pressing issues at the intersection of ethics and technology. And this year, as a theme, we turn our focus to the legal and political frameworks shaping AI governance. And we're so pleased to do this because of the wonderful partnership and the key strength with Seattle University's School of Law. Law is such an important angle for Seattle University. In our School of Law, we have the Technology, Innovation, Law, and Ethics, our TILE program that offers multiple degrees in technology law, and you'll be hearing from some of our faculty leaders who are involved in that program. As artificial intelligence promises to shape the future, its legal regulations will become increasingly important. Getting the correct balance between innovation and regulation requires a number of things. But among the range of things we need to think about are our values and meaning and impact. And this is where Seattle University, as a Jesuit institution, can make a unique contribution in this space and in this dialogue. In particular, in terms of reflection and discernment about ourselves and the technologies that we produce, how they affect us, our communities, and the world. A concern about those who are left behind are actually hurt by technological change and advance. And a concern for our planet, our Earth, sustainability, and what Pope Francis, our previous Pope leading the Catholic Church, referred to as our common home. You know, as a Jesuit and Catholic university, we do take inspiration from the leadership of the Catholic Church. And the late Pope Francis was quite inspirational as a leader, not only of the Catholic Church, but really a world leader. And you might be familiar with some of his writings. One of his papal letters on the common home, referred to often in its Latin phrase, Laudato Si', talks about the importance of an integral approach to the ecology of our world and our future, and how various aspects of humanity affect sustainability and our common home. Pope Francis had, I thought, a very profound view when it came to talking about artificial intelligence. Among the things that he emphasized was that AI must serve humanity and not be a substitute for it. But he also talked about the importance of and the immense potential of AI for our world and as a tool to be used responsibly. As I think the world knows, in the last months, with Pope Francis passing away and then the selection of a new leader for the Catholic Church, Pope Leo He's also weighed in his brief time leading the Catholic Church. And while in one of his first addresses, he warned both of the potential dangers of AI to human dignity, to justice and labor, and he also talked about the immense potential of technology and how we can responsibly use it to make sure that it's used for the good of all. So I share these themes with you because these are things that in our Tech Ethics Initiative we think about, and we invite you to think about with us today, particularly through the important lens of law and regulation. I'd especially like to thank Microsoft for their support of this initiative and especially this year's conference. Their support, in fact, helps in a profound way to make this gathering possible. I'd also like to thank Chuck and Nancy Porter, Chuck Porter, who serves as a trustee of Seattle University, for their generous gift of additional startup funds for this initiative and to seed the endowment that supports visiting fellows and faculty. And now, without further ado, it's my great privilege to introduce Onur Bakiner, who is the executive director of our Executive Tech Initiative. He also serves as professor of political science. Onur is an alum of Seattle University. He's one of those rare people who, in Jesuit education, we talk often about lifelong learning, and he so demonstrates that. He received his PhD in political science from Yale University, but then later, as a faculty member at Seattle University, decided to earn a master's in computer science so that he could bring those worlds together with a more informed perspective. Onur received the Outstanding Scholarship Award in 2018 from the College of Arts and Sciences. He received the Best Book Award from the American Political Science Association Human Rights Section in 2017. His research and teaching interests generally include transitional justice, human rights, judicial policies, technology, and society. And his current research is examining AI governance models. And so as we look back at our last few themes, the initial gathering here in 2022 focused on generally what academics say about artificial intelligence and ethics. Last year, we looked specifically at AI, human rights, big data society, and especially how it influences the health industry. And today, of course, we focus in on the law and regulation. So again, welcome. We're delighted to have you on our campus. We have a great lineup of speakers and panelists today. And without further ado, it's my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Onur Bakiner.
Good afternoon, everyone. All right, welcome to the third Ethics and Tech Conference at Seattle University. It's such a pleasure to have you all here. I hope you enjoy the panel conversations and make many new friends throughout the day. We're gathered here today to talk about AI law and policy, but let's zoom out a little bit. What we are focusing on today are really two words: innovation and governance. What will our grandchildren's generation say about what we, all human societies of today, did and did not do right at this moment? It's difficult to know, but the history of early modernity gives us comparisons. The history of the past 200 years is one of enormous technological progress. We live longer and healthier lives than our great-great-grandparents did. We produce, consume, travel, and communicate more than ever before. Now, the history of the past 200 years is also one of advances in governance. Many regions of the world today saw the expansion of democracy and fundamental rights. We choose those who rule us. We keep them in check, and we demand respect for our bodily autonomy and privacy. Many of us work 8-hour workdays with weekends off. I didn't say all, but many. And we have more access to education, healthcare, and other opportunities than ever before. Now, connect the two words, innovation and governance. And so let's think about technology governance. We drive relatively safe cars. Our homes can be made as baby-proof as possible. Our workplaces can be made as accident-proof as possible. We have banned chemical weapons and nuclear proliferation, at least on paper. And if we wanted to, green energy is available to use and develop further. Innovation and governance, hand in hand, have made the world a better place. Not so quick though, right? One could retell the story of the past 200 years as one of war, political repression, colonialism, and environmental degradation too. The horrors of the first half of the 20th century became possible because of technologies of warfare, surveillance, and communication. Technology did not cause any of this by itself, of course, but people using technology did. And if the history of governance was in part about democratic revolutions, its Janus face was authoritarianism, violence, and the denial of rights to enslaved people, colonized people, workers, minorities, migrants, women, non-conforming gender groups, and more. Reality fell short of our dreams. Now today, pick up the newspaper or scroll down your social media and you will find both narratives, 200 years deep, competing for our attention to forecast the future of technology and governance. AI will cure cancer. AI will make life happy, healthy, and productive. AI will democratize education. Or AI will trigger widespread unemployment. AI will empower dictators and market monopolies. AI will burn down the planet. These narratives come not from your random influencer or conspiracy theorist, but experts in the field. In other words, expert opinion on the future of technology, especially AI, is divided. AI can make things much better, AI can make things much worse, or who knows, AI can be less relevant to the future than many of us think. How's that possible? Who's wrong? I want to argue that nobody is wrong, that every scenario you hear here is possible, even if not equally plausible. If we manage to harness the creative minds to do what they are best at doing for the common good, while mitigating the risks and harms that arise from technology, and providing a social safety net for those who are adversely affected, we will be in a good place. Good innovation plus good governance equals good society. Now, I'm not going to lie, my optimism comes with caveats. Customers need to get their hands on safe and reliable products, meaning that the gap between AI promises and AI reality should close quickly. Creative minds should be incentivized with something more than the profit motive, which sometimes aligns perfectly with customer and broader human needs, and sometimes doesn't. And ultimately, our representatives at the municipal, state, national, and international levels should be willing and able to regulate AI. And of course, we're going to be talking about this. There's more to be worried about, though. Democracy and human rights protections have been eroding for over a decade globally. Trade flows are disrupted. As we speak, we are facing the prospect of a regional war in the Middle East spiraling out of control. International law and treaty bodies have been pushed to irrelevance. Our children may be less safe and more repressed than our generation, in part because of generations of warfare, surveillance, and communication. Technology will not have caused any of this by itself, of course, but people using technology will. This doesn't sound like good global society. If aligning innovation and governance was difficult in the best-case scenario, it's only more difficult now. If misplaced optimism is bad, debilitating pessimism is worse. The case for hope cannot be ignored. Ever since the first contemporary uses of deep learning models emerged around 2012, 2013, journalists, academics, activists, public-minded tech workers, and a few lawmakers have been looking for ways to make AI safe, trustworthy, and fair. There are people and organizations working on solutions to seemingly intractable problems, day by day, line by line, article by article, thought by thought. And I suspect that's who we have in the audience today. And that is why we're gathered here. It gives me hope to see so many of us here today. The philosophy guiding Seattle University's Technology Ethics Initiative, which I have the pleasure and honor of directing, is setting a large table. So we sit, discuss, debate, disagree, and hopefully go home with a clear mind and a plan for action. Nobody, no matter how powerful, connected, or technically sophisticated, can tackle today's technology problems alone. Think about ethical dilemmas arising from self-driving cars, chatbots, or AI agents. They have their roots at individual or team-level decisions, but also reflect business-level, industry-level, and systemic incentives and constraints. They are as much law and philosophy problems or business problems as they are computer science and engineering problems. Therefore, technology and governance leadership of the future should be multi-level, multi-jurisdictional, and multidisciplinary. This is what we have in mind in convening this meeting of minds today. The Technology Ethics Initiative wants to build an ecosystem of open dialogue, multidisciplinary research, and technology-focused teaching and learning in Seattle and beyond to accomplish the formula I stated earlier. Good innovation plus good governance equals good society. In the absence of easy solutions to hard problems, what we need is a dialogue that brings together academic research, business practice, social movement activism, and political rulemaking. One that bridges theory and practice, morality and power, expectations and reality. So we are so lucky today to have this group of business leaders, academics, activists, and decision makers to lead the conversation. Now, before we begin, I want to emphasize that today is a very special day on the Seattle University Technology Ethics Initiative calendar, of course. But we consider today's conference a foundation and inspiration for our activities throughout the year. You may have seen the slides that were rotating before. My colleagues and I are working to be at the cutting edge of legal innovation, technology for social good, and research projects in philosophy of technology, critical technology studies, technology governance, and more. We're striving to incorporate technology adoption, including the adoption of AI, in a useful, safe, accessible, and mindful way into our educational practices in line with our Jesuit Catholic mission. We're building a community of thought leaders with the annual conference and other events throughout the year. So if you want to support us with your time, collaborative projects, ideas, we are here for you. Now, conference like this can only happen thanks to year-long preparation with incredible levels of hard work and coordination across Seattle University. So let's give it up for everyone who made this conference possible. And speaking of year-long preparation, we have a time, place, and theme for next year's conference, so take out your calendars. May 15th, 2026, it's a Friday. Right here at Pigot Auditorium is when we will be talking about security, geopolitics, and technology. Our keynote speaker for that event is going to be Jake Sullivan, who was National Security Advisor under President Biden, and among many other achievements, a thought leader in national security and AI. So finally, I would like to thank again Microsoft for the title sponsorship for the conference. And also I would like to thank Chuck and Nancy Porter for their sponsorship, their funding of the Technology Ethics Initiative, and for making this conference possible.